Hello and welcome everyone to episode number 48 at the Indie Football Podcast. Yes, slowly and steadily we are climbing up the ladder in terms of the number of episodes that we have been doing over the last 15 months. And today has to be a first of sorts in terms of how we go with our content strategy, because Karan Dave here, who is a content consultant and strategist, and whatever all the more interesting things that we are going to share over the course of the next 30 to 35 minutes. I'll just start off by saying this. I don't think Anukar sir, anyone else came up with such a detailed document of content in what we want to speak over the next 30 minutes, right?
Definitely, it's a very unprecedented thing for us, and of course, we'll be sharing graphics from the document here. And honestly, like Karan has done a great job. The only thing which is like on a lighter note, which I would say our audience is gonna miss out, is that when we were doing the device checking, Karan had logged in from two devices, so it seemed like there were two versions of him. Unfortunately, we can have only one Karan and not a clone of him. So yeah, Karan, welcome to the Indie Football Podcast. It's great to have you on board, man. And we all are students here who want to learn about data today. So yeah, Karan is going to guide us about data in football and how he wants to discuss certain metrics. And the stage is yours, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I mean, Indie Football Podcast. I mean, you guys are doing tremendous job in making inroads into the footballing fraternity, whatever is building right now. So thanks a lot for actually having me here. And as I said to the Bayan, that I used to play football in school, and I represented Gujarat, where I come from, in under 17 Subrota Cup. I think should be around 2004, 5, I guess. So roughly 20 odd years since I played
Yeah.
that tournament, and been
So
playing that
those
in college
those
level.
who
So
are good those who are good with maths have already figured out your age now. So yeah,
yeah,
that's enough.
unless my face tells it, and probably a little bit of an experience as an IT content consultant tells that my inclination towards data, which has kind of brought me here to with such a topic where we would say just analyze football through data. And we'll discuss a few things, of course. And today, first things which comes to my mind is of Napoli, and how they are kind of coming up with such results lately in Europe, in Syria as well. So
Hmm.
having players like Dries Mertens, Koulibaly, Insigne, I mean those three key players in a season, and then coping up with the expectations of Spalletti in a second year of his, so I think second year of his spell. So I've been for third year, I guess, yeah. So what is happening? What is happening here? In Napoli. So let's just take a you know, uh, into the minds of Spalletti, what he thinks about the space. So in one of his interviews, he mentioned that systems no longer exist in football. It's all about the spaces left by the opposition, and you must be quick to spot them and know the right moments to strike, and have the
Right.
courage. So space is what Napoli is all about. So if you look at the game that Napoli plays next, just see how they are utilizing the space. And this is exactly what AC Milan exploited in their recent victory over Napoli. I think it was 4-0, and it was quite a shocking defeat for them, because they have not conceded much goals this season. So how did that happen? Again, it's a great game to analyze in itself, but we'll not talk about it much today. So right now, what I can figure out from the entire gameplay is that they are more into what we call as an automatism in football. So
Hmm.
it's structure, but you don't see it. It's so flexible, and it adapts to the team they are playing against. So
Right.
the principles are remain, they are rigid in between the matches, but they also adapt to the structure according to the match situation. For example, Lobotka, Kvaratskhelia, Lorenzo, they are excel in seeking places, and the fine spaces within the grounds, the gaps, and they'll adjust their positions accordingly, and they'll change their roles. They'll play double pivot sometimes with Anguissa and Lobotka, or maybe when Anguissa is foraying into the further territories, they know who has to guard the back. So
Hmm.
chaos we see on the pitch is nothing but automatism that we discuss here. So one example is of Liverpool, as I discussed with Anukar sir, who is also a great fan of Liverpool. So the missing the charm of Liverpool is because of Mane is not now in the team on the left flank.
Right.
So
My
so
heart breaks whenever I think about it.
Luke is doing good. Like he's doing good in Bayern, right? Like I
Yeah.
mean, Bayern is great as well. They're into quarters anyway. So him and I think Jota in the middle was doing wonders. And when Jota would drop back and Mane would sometimes play as number 9 and would score for fun. I mean, and on some match.
Right.
Last season was that where Liverpool scored 9 or 11 goals? I guess 9 against Southampton, or who was it? They scored
No,
9
no,
goals.
it was 9 goals was at the start of this season only when Liverpool faced Bournemouth.
Oh yeah,
Last
Bournemouth.
season,
Yes, the
yeah,
initial
yeah.
match, the first match, the first match.
Yeah.
No, Bournemouth was this season only, but yeah, it was in the first 5 or 6 matches of the
Yeah,
Premier League
first match.
season only.
I mean, they were
When
prolific,
the
but
when the sadness was yet to uncover itself as a Liverpool
yeah, I
fan. But
mean that's
Karan
all it
bhai,
is.
just to contextualize it better, I wanted to ask that yes, we do get 2-3 insights on how Napoli have been able to exploit certain spaces or systems, as you said, but this is available for everyone out there, and we know not only for the top 5 elite European clubs, also for many. I do understand that many certain teams can employ certain tactics, certain methodologies into place just because they have got the better players. But why do you feel specifically Napoli has been one team that has been able to use all of it better than the other teams?
I think first thing is the new player, new signings, very cheap
Hmm.
Yeah.
signing. One is Kvaratskhelia, or Quara they say, or Quaradona sometimes in Napoli, because
Yeah.
I used to
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
So that, and he just I mean Spalletti just got the best out of Oshiman this season, man. He is at some different territory, to be honest. He's like, frankly
And
speaking, he's above Mbappe this season any day.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean
And
we'll
I'm
talk about
sure,
it.
and I'm sure you have many numbers to share as well for Osimhen and those
Yeah, we do,
other
we do.
players.
So we got it like a couple last 2 seasons. His work rate was much more. When Insigne was there, his uh, his his uh, his role in build up and goal creation chain, or what we call an XG chain, was like much more towards coming back, helping the midfielders, carrying the ball progression. Those were the roles that he was into. So he was not much into scoring goals, or taking those shoots and everything. So this season, I think he has excelled in shooting abilities, or unlocking his own potential in terms of being in the box at the right time, and also getting help from Quara. That's not something that no one knows. But
Yeah.
the assist that he used to provide, the assist rate was 0.14. XA was 0.14 last season. XG chain was 0.72, and XG build up in 90 was 0.14. This is like last 2 seasons. And now
Mm.
that the chain build up from 0.14, it drops down to 0.07, which means half. So he's nowhere involved in build up. He knows that build
Hmm.
up के लिए काफी लोग हैं जो मुझे गोल दे देंगे, मुझे सिर्फ गोल लगाने हैं, ठीक है? तो
Yeah.
उसका जो XG चेन में उसका जो इन्वॉल्वमेंट था, वहां पर उसने मतलब एक्सजी बिल्डअप में उसका इन्वॉल्वमेंट था वो कम कर दिया. ऑल्सो उसका की पासिस जो था ना, मतलब वो भी कम हो गया है. मतलब थोड़ा 1.09 था पिछले 2 सीजन में, वो इस बार 1 हो गया हुआ है, ठीक है? और ऑल्सो एक्स असिस्ट का, तो उसका एक्सपेक्टेड असिस्ट वाज 0.14 in last 2 seasons. This time is 0.09. So
Oh,
drastically dropped. But one
yeah.
graph which improves, and I mean three other key areas where he excelled is goal creation. I mean goals. I mean last just couple of seasons, 0.61 was his goals in 90 minutes, 0.61, and this time it's 0.97, which means that you expect a goal a match every time he plays. It's
Yeah.
0.97,
And
right?
that is a heavy expectation, right?
Yeah, I
Of
Yeah.
mean,
any football
number
player.
nine. Look at us, like being a Man United fan. We are struggling for a good number 9 the entire season, resting
Yeah.
on our
I
leader Rashford to do this kind of a job.
Yeah, now that we are speaking of expectations, I'd like to ask Anukar sir once, like with everything that's Karan Bhai is thrown towards us, XG numbers, this, that, which is something that we're probably speaking for the first time in our podcast. Now, as a Liverpool fan and probably backing up to what Karan Bhai just said, Anukar sir, how much do you feel the technical absence of Mane in one of the flanks is affecting Liverpool right now as much as compared to whatever you have seen all the Liverpool games so far this season?
See, one thing, like Karan raised up some very relevant points, and some things I really liked, except the part where he said he's a Manchester United fan, with all due respect. But the thing is that, see, on a serious note, of course, more than the flank, when Sadio Mane was shifted to the centre forward position last season, he was really excelling. And as Karan Bhai pointed out, the front three of Mane, Salah, and Jota, they were doing really well, like really well. Luis Diaz came in later. He also chipped in with a few goals. And honestly, like that was the best part about the front three, even the traditional front three of Firmino, Mane, and Salah, was that they knew where the other person was. Like there were passes that if you see in the highlights where you will find that you wouldn't expect that from someone who has started playing together, say from yesterday or like today, right? So it looked in that end as the game is growing, the game is becoming a lot more technical. It's like
Hmm.
even the most minute of tackles, maybe not so much in the Premier League, can earn you fouls in the other leagues. Like you go in Spain, you go in the league, the fouls and the refereeing is a lot more strict, right? And the game definitely is becoming a lot more technical. With time, more and more stats are being used. It's not that it's the hoof it up tactic or like someone just being a good work rate will win you the match. It's the game is a lot more technical. The technical players are coming in, and because it's about those creative passes, those expected assists. Like there was a time when two stats were most important for forwards. They were the goals and the assists. Now there is an expected goals, assists, the expect the passer to the assist maker in the
Key
shot.
passes, yeah.
Like there are, yeah, exactly. So there are like a lot of other stats coming in, and they are important because at the end of the day, a few years ago, we used to talk about the part of the game which doesn't really get seen. Now it's good that through stats, through the use of metrics, it's starting to gain more relevance, and you are able to see it in terms of evidence, in terms of the
Hmm.
statistics, and that way you are able to, clubs are able to better find out which players are making a difference.
Yeah.
Because
So
like
I'll
if
give just
players,
one reference. Your striker Darwin Nunes. Okay, he has an expected assist of 0.3 or say zero point 0.3, and for Osimhen it's 0.09. Okay, but the fun part is both of them have the same assist, and
Yeah.
and and, Nunes's xG build-up is 0.18 as compared to Osimhen's 0.07, almost double or more than double. So you see here, I know he sometimes plays a winger as well because I think Klopp
uh,
made him play a winger
right, right.
sometimes. But then you see, it's not resulting in something substantial as compared to Napoli, Osimhen, who is doing a great job in providing the same number of assists as Nunes, but
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
doing, not overworking himself. So he's also saving himself,
Yeah.
as a because his
So
job is to score.
just to break it down further, when you use terms as XG, it is basically meaning the goal scoring probability, right?
Expected goals in 90 minutes. Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the
Now,
Osimhen's XG is 0.96 and
uh,
Nunes is a 0.77, and
yeah.
Osimhen surpasses his XG, of course, being 0.97.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of heavy duty numbers being rolled out here, and as we have spoken a bit about Napoli, we have spoken about where Liverpool is lacking, and then
Yeah,
Karan Bhai over here. I absolutely, why I keep saying Karan Dave all the time is many years ago there was this show called KD Pathak. I think it was
yeah,
Adalat.
yeah. Yeah,
One
I've
of
met him in Mumbai. Yeah,
yeah, one of their policemen's name was Dave. He would, and that was a religious show in my family every Saturday evening. I guess it used
Adalat
to
it
be
was like.
But I was called as
yeah,
Kelly during my college days. I was called
yeah, huh.
as well. Yeah,
So Dave, whenever I hear the surname Dave, I just love saying
funny.
Dave. And yesterday also, which was the first time when I spoke to Karan Bhai and I first mentioned hello Dave, and
Yeah,
I at that time I
exactly.
felt it's a bit odd to address someone with their surname for the first time, but yeah,
Yeah,
just to
that's
clear
fine. That's
that out.
fine.
But but then Karan bhai, you also mentioned about Man United, and
Yeah.
now this is
Will-
the segment where where we try to decode the success of their new
Yeah,
manager
I
in a
mean,
short period of time.
Ten Hag as well.
Uh,
Exactly. So
yeah,
just
Before Karan, starts talking about United, I want to say, I want to like bring one thing to our viewers, that Karan, being a United fan, although the show is about data, he had his stats about why Liverpool is not performing. Being a true United fan, we didn't realize it, but he put it in subtly about why Nunez isn't
yeah,
performing, what has happened with Liverpool. So that you can see he's a true United fan for that matter.
I could I could also say that his data is revealing more than what's written over there. There's a implicit meaning as well. But
yeah, I
go,
mean,
Karan.
wait till I prove that Casemiro is performing better at United than he was in Madrid last season.
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
please
Yeah, I mean, that's a
back that
fact.
up.
I mean, yeah, of course,
because
it's nothing like
because
I'm saying
Karan
out of.
bhai, if we ask you, I'm sure we are going to speak in more detail about whatever Rashford, Casemiro, Luke Shaw, probably Varane and Martinez at the backline are
Yeah,
doing. But if you have to name one player who has been most instrumental in this Man United resurgence, as you put it,
yeah,
whom do you think it? Whom do you think it has been?
Ericsson.
Ericsson. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you come with any numbers or whatever. Casemiro, of course, everything, but the kind of a deal we got for a free agent, the kind of experience and calmness he brings on the ball is unmatchable. Like I'm just waiting for him and Casemiro to play together. Frankly, I mean,
Yeah.
because I think he got injured while Casemiro was just setting in very nicely, and perhaps we performed really well in those games where they were both together. I mean, there can be a different episode altogether, discussing Ericsson's wonder. But then
Absolutely.
quickly I'll just go through one factor which Kvaratskhelia. I mean, we have to talk about him. He is just like, I mean, that also being a United fan, I'll not shy, of saying Messi is great, because his numbers, if you see right now, he's not in his prime anymore. Okay, he's
Hmm.
past his prime, but the
Hmm.
numbers this guy is throwing at this age, and no doubt, it's League One, it's okay, it's a French league, but Kvaratskhelia, if you consider him as a talent, his assist is just as good as Messi. Both have the same number of goals and assists, maybe one or two plus minus, but it's almost
Yeah.
similar this season. Okay, so what Quara is doing on the left flank is something that Messi has been doing all this while. But his role in build up and XG chain and key passes is less than Messi. But two areas where a winger should thrive in terms of creating goals, which is assist and getting goals, which is Kvaratskhelia is doing amazing job here. Seriously, man.
Hmm.
So he's shoulder to shoulder, I can say, with Messi. But that's it. Like Messi's not in his prime and still, he
Yeah,
such results
and yeah, Anukar sir, I'd say that one of the players that has really been on the forefronts of whatever Man United has been able to achieve so far in this season has to be Marcus Rashford, right? Every time he comes up, he scores a goal. It's almost like a regularity for the young footballer
Yeah,
now.
Definitely, man. I mean, honestly, he had been surrounded by a lot of criticism in all these years that he hadn't lived up to the hype, and he could do a lot better. But this season, Rashford has come to the fore. I think he has scored more than 15 goals in this calendar year itself. If
just
I'm not
started
wrong,
after
somewhere around.
World Cup. Just started around January, around
Exactly.
Wolves. He came and scored, and that just
Yeah,
blew big.
he has
Yeah,
been very, very good, except Liverpool. And honestly, throughout this season, all we have seen is that a resurgence. And honestly, like from a footballing point of view, it's good to see like how he played against Barcelona, how he played in the League Cup semi-final against Nottingham. I mean, some of the goals he has scored have been so brilliant. I remember watching Leicester versus Manchester United some time back, and the way Rashford was playing, he was making all the attacks. He was, a part of everything good United was doing, and it goes to show that sometimes in sport, like that's I think what sport teaches you, that even though the chips are down, even though things might not be working out, you can always get back, and you can always silence your critics if you are at it, and if you can put in the hard work.
yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Rashford.
So
This
Karan
is
bhai,
good.
with whatever data you have got, please tell us how different players have impacted Manchester United this season.
Okay, so I'll just quickly go and say. I mean, apart from Eriksen, which I think we already discussed. Rashford, as he said, is rightly, he I think he's coming close to what he did in I think two seasons back, 1920. So that was a time, under Ole, he was performing really brilliant. I think those were the times half of the matches were in those closed doors during the COVID time, right? So his stats are just around the same. Like he had like 14 goals and 14 goals, I guess. Yeah, 14 goals with 3 assists. And right now he is having 17 goals with 7 assists. And his goals per matches are like 0.55 now compared to it was 0.52, which is good. I mean, it is just, in terms of stats, it's just as good as his 1920 season. He's doing good, but he's not been able to, prove himself consistently. So he's been doing good since 3 months, frankly. I mean, the entire season is not something. If he had performed this well since the start of the season, we would have been easily in top four. I'm not saying top or
Yeah.
second or something, but we won't be, suffering, with these kind of defeats, which we I think had against Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
nothing like that happening. If he's been doing all good. Luke Shaw's resurgence is one thing. We were like when the season started, no, I was thinking यार ये लेफ्ट फ्लैंक में ये एलेक्स सेलेस को जाने दिया, ये कुछ गलत नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब जरूरत तो है यार कोई अटैकिंग बंदे की. लुक शो थोड़ा
Right.
अभी लग रहा है, मजा नहीं आ रहा है. फिर मलाशिया आया, फिर वो भी मतलब कुछ कुछ टाइम में अच्छा है, कभी नहीं अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा है. मतलब what was happening, I don't know, but passes completed, if you compare him, in percentile, which is 81 for Luke Shaw. So what I would say, the the best in the class is Jordi Alba, frankly. If we compare data for that space, which is 97.9, and compared to Luke Shaw is 70%, for example, 70%, per
Hmm.
90. So progressive passes are good. So if you consider him, then 4.78 per 90 minute is good, because he was not delivering those kind of numbers, in last couple of seasons,
And,
frankly.
and
His assist,
are these? Do we have any comparable numbers? The same things for a Manchester City player? Do we know something like that?
yeah, I think we can get into it. Whom you want to head on, like Cancelo or
Like,
some?
like for example, someone who is doing a similar job to what Casemiro or Rashford or whatever United player's name you said right now and his figures. For example, because and I'm currently, and I keep saying this, I'm currently doing my sports management in
Right.
whenever we do research work and we come up with numbers. I think what our teachers often ask us to do is pit them up against some counterpart numbers to make us give to basically provide us with the clear picture of where a certain player stands with his number. So I was just wondering if
Yeah,
we could
yeah,
have a
I think
match.
it's definitely. I think we can do that. We can do that. Like for example, if any comparison you want to do for defenders, I'll again just come to Napoli like for a moment. For
Yeah,
Kim
yeah,
Min
yes,
Jae, Kim Min Jae, of course, he's a center back, but
yeah,
he has been the best center backs this season,
yeah.
statistically. If you even compare with Ruben Diaz, at par, at par with Eder Militao for even in terms of clearances,
Yeah.
interceptions per game. Just to give a reference, the clearances per game for Kim Min Jae is 3.8. Okay, and if you
Yeah.
consider Ruben Diaz as someone who is solid in back for City, his clearances are 2, and Eder Militao is
Yeah.
3.3.
Almost
Okay.
double, huh?
Yeah, and duels won. We just go to that category. Duels won. Okay, as a center back, Ruben Diaz is 3, Eder Militao is 5.1, and Kim Min Jae is 4.6.
And I'd just like to push in here and ask Anukar sir, what do you think certain Virgil van Dijk would be rated?